Hello everyone, welcome to Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the 11th episode of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, Love Stings. And this is a Preston themed episode. But before I get to him, we have the Warrior Dome where Odia still has Venoma's Mystic Medallion. And she says that she can have it back, along with her freedom, but only if she can destroy the Rangers using her love arrows. And I just noticed that Venoma is French. I don't know why I noticed that now, but I have. Speaking of love, wouldn't you know it is Valentine's Day and it is a school dance. This is where Preston comes in, because he wants to ask Sandy, the new girl introduced in the mid-season premiere. He likes her, he wants to ask her out, and he's practicing a little magic trick to just show off his invitation in style. Even Haley sees that and is a little impressed by it. But unfortunately, just before he can do that, Victor Vincent makes his appearance. And he has Monty dressed up like a Cupid trying to shoot his arrows. Only not to hit the targets, because that's what Monty does. So Victor attempts to ask her out, but he makes the stupid idea of offering a necklace that she can have only if she goes with him. And of course, she does not accept his bribe. Not bride, but bribe. She refuses him and even says she'd rather go alone than go with him. And Victor walks off and he's in shock. He's like, that's by herself. Who would have thought that? Of course, Preston overhears that. Well, just to tell him that, and he believes that she doesn't want to go with anyone. So he's turned off from asking her out. Of course, Victor asks another girl called Lori, who just has this resting bitch face looking at him. I love it. And she just says, yeah, I'll go, but you're going to need to give me a lot more stuff. So that's the last we'll hear from them for a while. Now we cut forward to where they're in the park, and Calvin and Haley are talking, till Calvin has to go and take the dog's crap out to the trash can somewhere. And Preston makes an appearance and Haley's talking to him, and he explains what happened. She tells him he needs to try anyway because Victor Vincent likes to make crap up on the fly. He even tries to say he is the first man on the moon. Like anyone would ever believe that. Fortunately for our Blue Ranger, Sandy happens to be nearby and he gets a hold of her and tries starting to ask her out. But then there's a buzzing sound and Venoma comes to attack. Fortunately, the other Rangers appear, but Preston takes her to run off to safety. The problem is she starts firing arrows, and one of them hits Sandy in the back. Her supposed love arrows. Because during the midst of this fighting, her other three male Rangers, Brody, Levi, and Calvin, get hit, and they fall instantly in love with Venoma, and they'll do anything for her or give her anything. So Preston shows up after the fact and helps the other ones fend her off and get her out of there. At least for now. So this poses a bit of a problem, because back at the Ranger base, they seem to have no cure, and those three are making their own Valentine's gifts for the monster. You have a song, you have a toy truck with flowers in it. Brody's actually making an actual ninja star to give her, because why not? And Mick has to stop him from trying to throw it into the prism. But the two girls say, "Hey Preston, you should go and ask her out while you still have the chance." So he goes and tries to talk to Sandy, but she gets on him first and starts to ask him out. But then he remembers the arrow hit her in the back, and so he declines it, because he says it wouldn't be right. And she gets really upset and storms off. And this is when Haley is coming back into the picture. And she asks what happens, and then Preston explains what happened. Of course, Sandy was so upset she forgot her backpack. Though, when he sees it open, he notices that her book has an arrow stuck to it. Which means Sandy was legitimately asking him out. She was not under the spell, because the book blocked the blow. Unfortunately, he doesn't have time to chase after her, because Venoma's on the loose, and we gotta do something about these other three Rangers, because they left a watchful eye of Mick and Redbot and Sarah in order to try and deliver their gifts. Fortunately, Calvin's truck stops working, so those three are trapped. Well, not trapped, but they are left immobile for a while. And Preston sees some honey on a trash can, and he realizes that she must be nearby. And of course, she is right above him. And instead of doing the thing that would secure her victory and shooting him in the back with an arrow, where he has no backpack to defend him, instead, she goes straight on and tries to attack him with the sword. And so he just morphs in. They have a one-on-one battle, and it's a really fun sword fight to see. Just the two of them trying different techniques and trading blows the whole way. Neither one of them getting a real edge. He's deflecting her attacks left and right, not getting hit, till eventually he does get hit in the chest. And he unmorphs. And he runs up and embraces her. So it seems like he's on his love spell. And just before he gives her his ninja power star, he says, "There's one thing I have to do first." And he grabs her last arrow, and he shatters it with his sword. Because it turns out, underneath his shirt, he was wearing a metal plate of armor to block her attacks. What is this, Kung Pao into the fist? So she's extremely pissed off because that breaks the spell on the other three, who decide to go and try and help him out with the fighting, because the girls reach them as well. But they're too late, because he does a spinning attack, while Venoma just tries to straight out slash him. And ultimately, he destroys his monster on his own. The way they have him slow motion, looking just to the side of the explosion, it just looks really cool. Probably the best Preston has looked the entire season and a half. Morphed or unmorphed, for that matter. And of course, right in front of him, Venoma is immediately gigantified. But that's no problem, because the Blaze Zords show up immediately. And they do little attacks with them, but pretty much he instantly formed the Megazord. And it has a hydropower shield this time that can block her arrows giantly. So it trades blows, and this time you see the power of the Serpent arm where it can just attack and hit hard. Nothing really much to this Megazord battle, but it's just still cool to see like new little moves that this new Zord can do. Unfortunately, it finishes with the Ranger Blast, which I don't think is that satisfying of a finishing move, especially compared to the previous ones from this season. So that defeats her, along with the rest of the Galactic Ninjas. They are forever gone, which means Odious has to continue on with her regular plans. Who knows what those would be. Now, in the aftermath, though, Preston is talking to Sandy, who doesn't look like to be in a good mood, and after having her feelings crushed, I don't blame her. And he starts saying how he wanted to ask her first, but then he got mixed up and confused when he heard what Victor was saying, and he got too nervous. He says that he really likes her, and he really wants her to go to the dance. Fortunately, she likes him well enough where she understands that and gives him another chance, and accepts going out with him. So that's great. Now, I've noticed there's yet to be a single episode where a girl is interested in Brody. Because we've had them interested in Preston, Calvin is in a relationship, and Levi's had quite a handful of being a famous singer and all. And of course, we're in the episode of a fun way, where Victor has finally got all the presents for Lori, with Monty's help, of course. And there are expensive items, too. Fortunately, she needed one thing, some balloons, which somehow float up and carry Monty with him. They must have had tons of helium to lift that poor boy up. Unfortunately, they get caught in the fan and they all get popped. So of course, Lori rejects him completely, because Victor's a loser and she can see it. But she does take the stuff with her, because of course she took advantage of him. Why else would she have done that? And we just laugh at Victor as the screen goes to black. And that's the end of this episode. Overall, it was pretty solid. Not really anything special. No, I take that last line back. It was pretty special. We got to see some great fight choreography, where your interest will be kept on every detail of the action the entire time. There's definitely some more interesting fighting and not rushed at all like a previous episode, which was our anniversary episode. I still gotta say I'm disappointed that they rushed it so much. And Preston's character develops more, because he started out being pretty much very nervous, but you can see he's talking a lot more confidently now, probably because of his new group of friends and his experiences as a ranger. It's probably just an overall improvement on acting overall, but still, I really like that touch to him. To me, it shows like he's changing as a person, and for the better. So it's definitely worth watching. Plus, it concludes our plotline from several episodes ago with the Galactic Ninjas. Now we'll see what Odious has in store for the Rangers on next time. And I hope you'll catch me for that episode. Till then, it's been Jargus. Thanks for watching, and let the power protect you.